welcome to Real Talk with Garrett and Laura. Today we're talking all things old house problems.
Old houses. We love old houses. We have a lot of them in Seattle. You've probably seen some of them with us, or you will soon. Things we're going to talk about are small closets, baseboard heaters, old outdated surfaces, and unfinished basements.
And we'll discuss all the fixes you can make to your home and how to make it better moving forward. Let's get into it.
So we're going to talk about small closets first. This is something that affects me significantly in my life. And I feel like most time I'm showing houses, it's a significant comment by my clients. And the reality is that houses that were built 75 years ago, 100 years ago, they weren't designed for the way we dress now with fast fashion. It's bad for the environment, but we all go to Old Navy and Madewell and we buy clothes every season. And that is just how we function now. And that's not how the bedroom closets were built.
And that's what I was thinking too, is like, how do we solve those problems without expanding the closet, which then shrinks the rest of the bedroom?
Yeah. So Garrett mentioned to me once when we were on a showing that in the 1930s, how many outfits did somebody own?
20 outfits for any male or any adult in the 1930s. They had 20 outfits in total.
Wouldn't that be so nice? Now it's so much pressure to show up, and then all of our photos. It makes things so much easier. Well, the solution that I have found is to dress by season. Yes, you can create some shelving in your closet. You can get a huge dresser. You can get an armoire. You can get those rolly bins for under your bed for t-shirts and activewear. But honestly, the most effective way to solve this problem is to dress by season. Get some rolling racks, put them in your storage space, and rotate your closet every season. And it's also in fashion to get rid of things per the Home Edit and Marie Kondo. So that gives you an opportunity to clean out your stuff as you go. It's really effective and functional.
Yeah. I got married a couple months ago and was told I needed to get rid of a lot of my things. When we were combining closets, I could just have everything to myself. So A lot of stuff ended up going to donation.
Yes. And someone else is going to wear that jersey, Garrett, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, moving on to baseboard heat. You'll see baseboard heaters that are the long, rectangular heaters, and they really end up, blocking your bed, your living room couch, and kind of what you can do functionality wise with some of your rooms, because you don't want it to go up against it. So I would always recommend, they're all electric, so it's super easy to swap out the baseboard heaters with the cadet heaters that are also electric and little zonal ones. So I'd recommend having an electrician do it so that you don't zap yourself, but it's a super easy fix, and that's an easy way to do it. What's another way that you like?
Well, I like those because you can sit in front of them when you're cold. But the solution that I like better, it's a little more expensive, about $800 per unit, but I'm talking about the mini split. They go up high on the ceiling, and it's a heat pump. So actually the benefit of those is that it's heat and air conditioning, and you don't need that many units because they're super efficient. So you need one in your main living space, your primary bedroom, and then if there's a secondary mini living space like a bonus room or something like that. So they're a little more expensive up front, but then you get AC and they're up high. It doesn't draw your eye to it. You can put your furniture wherever. I just think it's a better long-term solution.
Definitely. So I like those too. Now, talking about old surfaces that are outdated but still updatable. Laura, what would you do for loudly colored tile counter if you wanted to change the color without replacing it with granite or quartz? Or what are some other fixes that you can do that when you're in your home now?
Yeah. So first, everything is updatable always because you just tear it out. But often when someone's buying a house, they have spent a lot of their savings on their down payment. And so their updates are a ways out. So I always say paint. It's cheap. It's a little bit extra work, some elbow grease, some time. But if your remodel is 5 to 7 years down the road, it's worth it. You might say, oh, I don't want to put this effort in now because I'm going to gut this whole kitchen. Well, sure, but that's a ways away. And don't you want to like where you live in the meantime? So Pinterest, YouTube, you can paint tile, you can paint everything. And my main things when it comes to updating without doing a full remodel is really paint, fixtures, whether it's hardware or sink or whatever fixtures, and light fixtures. So paint and fixtures, it makes all the difference.
Right. So switching out your paint colors, the door handle hardware, your sink hardware, and then those light fixtures are all stuff that are relatively cheap fixes that you see very often, and will help bring you into the 21st century, or give you whatever style that you want. Super easy to do, and won't break the bank doing it.
Quick way to modernize. So the other thing we were going to talk about was unfinished basements. And I think that people rag on unfinished basements because they go into a house and they're like, wow, look at all this wasted space. We're paying for this wasted space. But the reality is an unfinished basement is the best ever because it is instant equity. You can put in floor, you can do some paint on the walls, you can add drywall if you want, and suddenly you have this finished usable space that is adding equity to your house. You're not waiting for your property value to increase. So especially when there's that anxiety of buying a house, well, we need the property value to increase. It's a lot less stressful, a lot less risky when you have an unfinished basement because you can always use it or do something to it. And the glory of an unfinished basement, we had an unfinished basement. You can do whatever customized to your needs. Home office. We happen to have a barber shop in our unfinished basement. Right?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, and two, it's like it was probably getting used just as a guest room for out of town visitors, and then just storage. So probably lightly for you. And then now you guys are using it all the time.
Yeah. So. Well, especially in COVID, having that extra space is so nice, and it's easy to turn it into whatever you need.
And that's the thing that I think is going to be the biggest advantage moving forward, is that with so many people working from home or just being home way more often than normal, you're going to want to take your unfinished basement, do a home office, or just make it a secondary living space to break up your day and have another place to go, to avoid the other people living in your home or whatnot. So
to attempt to still like each other by giving each other some personal space.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, that does it for today on Real Talk with Garrett and Laura. We are so happy you found us, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.